a lot of people are intrigued by the idea of living in a vehicle invisibly inside of a city. Good morning. I'm in Austin, Texas today. It's about 2 or 3 days after my surgery. I was just released from the hospital for intestinal surgery. Had a herniated intestine that was repaired, which you can see up above. I'll link that so you can look back at those videos. Actually, some funny experiences in the hospital. Thank you everyone for all of your wonderful comments and encouragement and wishes for quick healing. I'm on the mend and probably going to be taking it easy for about the next week or so before I start actually doing much in the way of physical activities. I promised before that I would do a follow-up on my 30-day test, my trial of box truck living. And so really there's two parts, part A and part B to this test for 30 days. And I wanted to do this test before putting a whole bunch of time and money into the vehicle to build out the box. So part A of this was to figure out, is living in a vehicle something that I want to do? Is that something that's a workable, viable, doable lifestyle for me? Or is it something that I just absolutely hate and can't stand living in a vehicle? So that's the first part that I wanted to figure out. And the second part was, if that's something that works for me, is this particular vehicle, this box truck with the van front, the ideal vehicle, a good fit for me and the things that I want to do as far as physical comfort, emotional, everything else. So I went through and I made 7 points to sort of narrow it down, pros and cons, to figure out, is box truck living in a vehicle for me. 7 factors that I decided to base my criteria for the 30-day test on. The first is driving the vehicle. Second is urban camping. Third is socializing. Third is home residence in a vehicle. The fourth is a bathroom situation. Then there's sleep in the vehicle and the costs associated with living out of a vehicle. I'm going to go through each of these one by one. The first test that I was concerned about is driving a box truck vehicle. Is that something that's just way too big, too cumbersome, and what factors involved in driving this might freak me out? So I needed to get something that I felt comfortable driving. So during the 30 days, the box truck actually wasn't too bad. Driving it on the road, it's big, it gets pushed around by the wind. The top speeds are certainly not in the 80-90 miles an hour. It doesn't feel like a typical car, but it's not actually that bad. It's something that the actual size of the vehicle is something I'm comfortable with. I would want to add in a backup camera so that I can see behind me. It's really difficult to back up by myself. I have to sometimes hop out of the vehicle, look behind me, and then back up a little more and then get out. If I had somebody with me or backup camera, that wouldn't be an issue. The only big problem I ended up having was with this particular vehicle, and that's the seat situation. I did a whole video about the 4 problems I had with the seat. So driving the vehicle overall, and this size of vehicle and weight and engine power and all of those kinds of things, I'm okay, thumbs up. This particular vehicle is not really comfortable for me, and it's primarily based on this seat that I'm sitting in and the size of the driver's cab. And so you can look at that video about all the problems that I had with it. So that was sort of thumbs down for this particular vehicle, thumbs up on the basic overall size. Another area I wanted to address was urban stealth camping. This is really cool, and I think it's sort of an upcoming trend. Maybe it's been around for a while, but now that we have the internet and we have YouTube, a lot of people are intrigued by the idea of living in a vehicle invisibly inside of a city. I mean, parking on a street similar to where I am now in a neighborhood, or maybe a parking lot downtown, but just somewhere and not being noticed because your vehicle looks like a commercial vehicle. There's something intriguing about this. By the way, I should mention that many cities have ordinances against parking in the public space in your vehicle and sleeping in it overnight. I should also mention that there are ways around this because private property like Walmart or Target or Cracker Barrel many of these people are fine with you parking your vehicle inside the parking lot, which is what I've been doing, and I've found to be really, really easy and very, very nice. So for me, it's been a good experience. Staying in parking lots has not been stressful to find parking lots or find places to stay, and everybody's been completely welcoming, non-judgmental. It's been a really great experience for me for urban camping. There's not really been any stealth involved at all. I could easily have just a normal vehicle, a normal motorhome or a normal camper, and be sleeping in it at Walmart or Cracker Barrel, and it wouldn't be an issue. So I don't really think there's any advantage for having something that looks stealthy as you're traveling around America. A few years ago, before owning this, I thought that you really needed to have a vehicle that was plain white and blended in. So I haven't really tested the stealth factor, but urban camping has been a non-issue. It's been really, really easy. It's been really brilliant, and I really enjoy it. One of my biggest concerns when I started addressing living out of a vehicle was socializing. I have really struggled with having a home office in the past and staying home alone all day long with no interaction with people. I sort of like having interaction with people and engaging others instead of being socially isolated. And I think one of the dangers of having a vehicle like this and living out of it is not engaging with other people, because you are more isolated, especially if you pull into a new city. You don't know anyone in the city, and it's very, very easy to, say, eat your meal in the back of the vehicle, sleep in it, and never really talk to anyone. So that was a huge concern for me, probably more than anything else. And I started doing research on the web, probably on the internet, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and about 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I stumbled on an interview and an article by Giuseppe, the T-Bus guy with Edna Lou, and I'll link him up above as well. And he had a brilliant solution, and that's sort of where I ended up connecting with him. His solution was to serve tea. So he pulls into a new city, he drives down to the Central Park downtown or Main Street, and he opens up his door and he brews some tea, and he invites people to come in and sit down and have tea with him. So this allows him to instantly engage with local people and talk about his lifestyle and the things he's passionate about, and to make local connections. He travels very slowly, so he'll stay in a city usually for several weeks, and by going down and serving tea several times a week, he's able to increase his social circle of friends very, very quickly and establish local connections in multiple cities. I thought this was an absolutely brilliant idea. Ultimately, after talking to Giuseppe and reading his article and seeing a few videos with him, I decided that this is exactly what I want to do with the vehicle that I live out of. I want to be able to pull into a city, open my doors, serve tea, and engage and talk to other people and make friends as I travel. And I just think this is really a brilliant way to travel the world and travel through North America and to engage and to meet people. So on the socializing aspect, I think it's absolutely fantastic for the lifestyle and 30-day trial. Now, I personally, that's an area I didn't do really well in the testing. I didn't have any tea. I felt a little embarrassed by maybe having people have tea in an empty box truck. So that's something I haven't yet experimented with or done, but I feel pretty confident that I'm going to be able to do in a vehicle once I start building it out. The next point is determining whether a vehicle can be made to feel like a home, a place of retreat, a place of safety, a place of emotional stability, serenity, and I think that it works really well. I really felt comfortable in the back of the box of the truck, and I think particularly as I build it out and make it my own unique space with the carpentry and the build out, the beds, the cabinetry, the tables, the benches, all of those things. I think everything that I build into it, it will become more and more a sense of a place of retreat and a peaceful place to me. So overall, for the lifestyle, yes, I think I can make a vehicle into a home and feel very good about it. This particular vehicle, definitely. I think it's a great funky vehicle. I like it a lot and definitely can be a home for me. Another one of the points that I wanted to test was the bathroom situation, the toilet and the shower. Is this going to be a real serious issue for me? And particularly because I'd had intestinal surgery in 2013, sometimes things don't exactly work correctly. And sometimes I need to use the restroom in the middle of the night and it's fairly urgent. So that was sort of an important thing. But it actually ended up being something that was not really an issue, not really a problem. The way I solved the bathroom situation for the box truck is I try not to use the toilet or shower in the box truck. And that's done for two reasons. Once I would build out a bathroom eventually in here, I would still try not to use it. I would try to use commercial resources going into McDonald's, going into Walmart, going into businesses, restaurants, Starbucks during the day and using the toilets there. As far as showering, one of the solutions that I found that's pretty brilliant, and I found this online, is to get a membership at Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness has memberships starting at $10 a month. If you want one for clubs throughout all of North America, then it's $20 a month. So for $20 a month, I have a resource available to me to go to every morning. So I can get up, wake up, drive to the gym, go inside, use the toilet, work out, get my exercise routine done, and then take a shower afterwards directly inside of the gym, and then hop back in my vehicle, go off to Starbucks or to a coffee shop or to meet friends or to do whatever I need to do. So that was a really, really easy, brilliant solution. So that handles most of it, but how do I handle it during the night? Well, what I've been doing is I've been using a jug, apple cider or Gatorade jug, and peeing into it. And I really haven't had a need to use a bowel movement inside of the vehicle, so far it's been really super easy with just peeing into a jug. I do have a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat lid and a trash bag on it that is there only for emergencies. And so far over the 30 days I've never even needed to use it, never come close to it, and it hasn't been an issue. And I don't really see that it would be an issue. My ultimate plan would be to build a small toilet / shower space in the vehicle and just try not to use it because I don't want to have to clean it up, and it's so much easier just to use commercial sources that are available everywhere for all of my bathroom needs. Right now I'm at Stan's house. I've been sleeping inside because it's just a couple of days after my surgery. But for most of the 30 days I was sleeping inside of the back of the vehicle, either on the cot for the first half of it or in this area up above the driver's cab called the attic. I've been sleeping in this attic area, and I did a whole video about the attic area. So the question is, can I sleep in a vehicle comfortably at night? And I would say yeah, overall it was pretty good. I slept in it in the rain, not a problem. Inside of busy parking lots in Walmart, not really an issue, except for people maybe revving up their engines like teens and early 20s with their hot rod cars, where they really rev up the RPMs and make a lot of noise. When they're doing that at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and it's just right next to your vehicle, it's going to wake you up. But overall, for me, it was not an issue. This particular vehicle, I did a video about that, which I'll link up above. The attic space I think probably doesn't work for me as a space for sleeping just because of my age and that I'm so tall. And you can see the video about that. But this particular video I could easily build a bed down here on the bottom area and sleep in that and be absolutely comfortable. It really wasn't so much of an issue. The last item that I wanted to address was costs. What are the costs of living in a box truck? Basically, I keep a spreadsheet of all of my costs as I'm traveling. I've been doing this for probably a couple of years now, and my goal, what I try to do, is to keep under $30 a day. That includes all of my food, all my lodging, all my transportation. It does not include things like buying shoes, buying a shirt, buying glasses, things that are sort of one-time costs. So that's pretty much my budget that I've had traveling through Europe and South America. You can see a video up here. I'll link that on the costs that I have while traveling. This particular vehicle during the last 30 days actually cost less than traveling through Europe month by month, just by a little bit. And I was traveling pretty far and pretty quick with this. I went through probably 6 states here in the US, traveling from Austin, Texas, down to Florida to Lakeland, and then back to Austin, Texas, and seeing 4 national parks. I spent about $850 during the 30-day trial living out of the box truck. That included all of my food, all of my gasoline, any of the fees I paid like tolls and toll booths, and putting oil in the vehicle. I did not include things like the alignment or being towed out of the national park or the new fuel pump I put in it or tires or things like that, which I consider sort of in a separate category as a one-time improvement or repair fund. If I were to include those, then I probably had an extra $1,500 just in the fees that I paid for maintenance of the vehicle. So I compare that maybe to owning a house. You have a dishwasher that goes out, or you need to get the sewer line snaked or something like that. Those are sort of like one-time expenses that I put into a separate fund. So overall, I would say this is comparable or even better than living out of hostels and traveling in Europe. So the costs are definitely within my budget and definitely doable. And I think that if I were traveling even slower, that my costs would be lower because I wouldn't be spending so much on fuel. I think probably about $550 of that was just fuel costs, and very little outside of that was actually spent on day-to-day living expenses. So you can probably already guess by now on Part A the results of my test. Part A was, does a house truck work for me as far as a lifestyle? And the answer to that is yes. When I weigh everything in, I had a really positive experience in all of those 7 areas. I would say it's a thumbs up. It definitely was a good experience for me. Part B of this experiment is, does this particular vehicle work for me? Is this the right one? And I think it's close. It's really pretty darn good. But I think if I'm picking the perfect vehicle, this is probably not it. And that just comes down to mostly the driver's cab area, which you can see here is a smaller cab area, and it's built for people that are maybe 6'2" or smaller. I think if I were shorter, 6'2", hands down this would be a fabulous vehicle, really, really great. But I'm 6'6", and it's just not comfortable, and I think there's no way really to make this a comfortable driving situation in the cab area for this particular vehicle. Now, if I'm not driving it very much, this probably would be doable, but I do plan on trying to see all the national parks. I want to drive all the way up to Alaska and through Canada, so I do want to do quite a bit of driving, and I want a space that I'm comfortable with in driving. And I think that the step van is probably going to be a better solution for me. And since I've been talking the last couple of weeks with Giuseppe after meeting him, he has a waste vegetable oil system that his vehicle runs on. I've become really intrigued by the waste vegetable oil system, and I really would like to switch over to a diesel so that I can do that. So this kind of configuration here, but a better cab and running diesel would be ideal, and it looks like the step van's going to be a better solution for me. So right now I'm shopping around looking at step vans and leaning in that direction, and I think I'll probably end up selling this and switching over to a step van. So anyway, that's the end of my 30-day trial. I would say it was a successful trial, and that overall I love living out of a house truck, and that I think that this is a lifestyle that's going to work really well for me. I think probably a different vehicle is a better solution for me, and that I'll be much happier in a step van than in this, just for the driving comfort and the space involved. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to have your comments and give me some feedback. I'd love to hear what you're thinking and get some ideas in the direction that I should go. Savor the moment, be happy, pursue your passions. See you next video.